I'm a hero, wear my cape. Independent leader made a way. I'm the people's voice, your purple ray. Stuck to my pace, the turtle win the race. There's trophies on trophies, views from the townscape. Change is great, break, then I had to skate. God told me time to go elevate. Chosen child, I'm the champ now, not a featherweight. Man, I'm so blessed, I just meditate. Peace of mind, that's what you get when you out the way. By any means, I just listen what Malcolm say. Studied the game, I'm a student, learned every day. Stacking my books and I'm not talking Tampa Bay. Running the game, feel like first in the relay. Hand me my medal, took it to new levels. All gas on the pedal, not stagnant, cause settle, no.
Okay. Welcome to the final day of KiteFoil World Series Austria. We're on the southern corner of Lake Trounsey. My name's Andy Rice, and joining me today is Flavio Stragiotti, a kiter in his own right, and Flavio also probably best known here as the father of Jan Stragiotti, who is doing incredibly well. Jan, a young rider, I guess looking to go for the next Olympic Games. How old is Jan now?
He's 16 and turning 17 in 4 or 5 days, actually. Yeah.
Right. So soon to be 17-year-old. We've got just 1 minute to the start of the first race. Now we probably won't have time to explain everything to you now, but this is the golden ticket race, and this is for the riders that haven't yet made it into the medal series. We've got 9 that are confirmed in the medal series, but we have a total of 10 riders that are in the medal series. So the riders about to start this race in 40 seconds are racing for what we are calling the golden ticket. It's a format that we've already tried and tested on the wingfoil racing World Cup circuit. This is the first time we'll see it in action on the kitefoil racing world circuit. But the great thing is it opens the door for anybody still to be able to win the overall competition on the final day. So we've got a race where it's all about being first across the finish line. We've got 15 seconds to go. I'll introduce you to the riders in a moment, but let's just see how they go into the start. The final run in, they got the kites in the sky. We're looking right down the start line. 3 seconds to go, 2 seconds, 1 second. Really good start by one of those riders in particular. It's a clear start, and we will bring you up to date with exactly who's doing well as soon as we can. We're just trying to identify who's on what kite. Flavio, please dive in if you recognise any of the riders here. And we've got Benny Boelli with the blue fly surfer there. Benny is actually, he's 35 years old. He's the oldest rider in this fleet. He's the designer of these amazing fly surfer kites, which in the previous cycle leading up to the Paris 2024 Games have been absolutely dominant. Well, he's fighting to see if he can get into the final top 10. I think Benny has already exceeded his expectations. He sailed incredibly well this week. But at the moment, I'm just trying to identify who. I think it's Tom Ballantyne from Great Britain who is leading at the moment. And this race will only last a matter of minutes. And the leader coming up to the top mark, still trying to identify who's who. I'm using the tracking to try and help identify, but the tracking is lagging by a large number of seconds, so it's not actually helping me very much in terms of identifying who's who right now, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I see they have nice wind now, so the whole race area has good winds. Just really came in for the race, so a few minutes ago still was difficult to have a good race, and now it seems that we have really good wind for this race.
And I'm going to take a punt. I think it's Jan Kozowski from Poland who is leading this race with one of the new 21 square meter pink coloured fly surfers. We've seen Jan Kozowski do really well on the flat waters of Lake Trounsey in the past. He's been a bit of a giant killer, and right now he's doing over 33 knots of speed downwind in probably true wind speed of about 7 or 8 knots, so incredible speeds. And the Polish rider coming down to the bottom of the course and leading quite comfortably ahead of Jindřich Hustek from Czechia. So it's really a two-horse race at the moment, and it's Jindřich Hustek from Czechia who's just gone round the bottom of the course, round the pink mark. Now being followed by the next two, it's Felix Hecht from Switzerland and Daniel Harris from the UK. Jan Kozowski on his way up to the top of the course. You can see him on the left of picture with the pink/red fly surfer going really well, and he's going to be looking at attack fairly soon. Already getting close towards the top of the course for the second time, so doing phenomenal speeds. And Jindřich Hustek in second, simultaneous tack from those two. And meanwhile, also going well behind them, but with a bit of catching up to do, it's Felix Hecht from Switzerland. Daniel Harris in the foreground from Great Britain. And then on left of picture, but actually leading this race with the red-pink fly surfer kite just going in the sky. If Jan Kozowski gets his ley line right, this will be the last tack of the race. So he's already well on his way to grabbing the golden ticket.
We had a crash there.
Oh, what have you seen, Flavio? Just a bit of a splashdown.
No, there was a crash.
Oh, right, okay. Someone's in the water. I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. So that looks like it's Jindřich Hustek who's had a crash near the top mark. We know that at the top mark it's a little bit lighter up there, and you've got to maybe overtack the ley lines and give yourself a nice wide berth on the windward mark, because keeping the kite going and keeping the board above the water is a bit of a challenge sometimes.
That gives a really solid lead now for Jan.
And he'll look over his shoulder occasionally, but he'll be very encouraged by what he sees, because Jan Kozowski doing 30 knots of speed downwind, absolutely flying down the course, and the young Polish rider looking very much in control and getting some useful practice in for when he joins the rest of the top 9 riders in the knockout rounds coming up very shortly after this. Around Jan Kozowski goes round the bottom of the course for the final time. Now Jan approaches the slalom mark, and as long as he manages to negotiate this final jibe around the slalom mark, Jan Kozowski from Poland looks set to grab his first ever golden ticket. The first ever golden ticket ever handed out in the KiteFoil racing circuit, and this is the KiteFoil World Series Austria. We're about to find out who our 10th rider is. He's about to grab the golden ticket. It's Jan Kozowski from Poland, and look how much that means to him. He's got that ticket. Very shortly he's going to come ashore, and we're going to hand over the golden ticket to Jan Kozowski, and then he'll be joining the other riders in the first round of the knockout rounds. That's the repechage. So absolutely dominant performance. And Jan Kozowski just now riding for fun. It's really beautiful conditions out on Lake Trounsey at the moment, so why not make the most of it? And a long way back, it's the rest of the riders now coming across the finish line. In the end, it was Tom Ballantyne from Great Britain who comes across in second. Jindřich Hustek from Czechia in third place after that splashdown, and then followed up by Daniel Harris, Felix Hecht and Benny Boelli. Benny Boelli, 35 years old, pretty ancient in kitefoiling terms, bearing in mind that, Flavio, you've told us that that your son, Jan, who's we're going to see racing later on this afternoon, is only just about to turn 17. So from my world, Benny Boelli's 35 years seem quite young, but he's one of the veterans in this world. It's full of teenagers, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And here on the race course, we had also Felix, which is probably the youngest competitor. So there's quite a wide spread of age.
And how old is Felix?
I'm not sure. In the
Probably early teens.
15
or so. Yeah, yeah. And even our current series leader, Max Mader, is only 17, just about to turn 18 in 4 days' time. But the recent winner of the Olympic bronze medal was only 17. So it's a young sport, but as the sport gets older, probably so the competitors who stay on this game will probably see an older, higher average of age come into the sport, depending on how long the likes of Max Mader and Valentin Bontis and Tony Vodicek and others decide to stay in the sport. But at the moment, it's an incredibly young average age.
Yeah, exactly. It's really those guys that are performing. They're so young, but they started at a very, very early stage. So I think we will see the peak from that generation.
Well, I'm waiting to see when our winner comes ashore. Jan Kozowski.
He's enjoying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert.
Got enough hands to hold the golden ticket.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. So you absolutely dominated that race. Really good start. Tell us, what was your approach to it?
Actually, I didn't realize that the starting procedure was yet on the committee boat. So I came back to the committee boat. I put my watch on the 2 minutes, and yeah, I went full speed on the starting line to try to overtake some guys. And unfortunately, on the rocks out there on the side of the course, there was no wind, so I was a bit lucky being on the left side. Then just keeping it safe, and let's see what the day brings.
And a big celebration from you. It obviously meant a lot to book your space in the final 10. So how far do you think you can go through the competition now?
We'll see. Everything can happen. Right now I have completely nothing to lose. I'm on the 10th place, so I'll push my best, and yeah, we will see.
Great place to be. Jan, wish you all the best for the repechage and the knockout round.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
So we'll go to a quick ad break. Back to you shortly.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert.
Kozowski confirmed to go into the medal series after winning the golden ticket race. So congratulations to the young Polish rider. And as Jan was just telling me, got nothing to lose. So psychologically, he's in a very strong place for going into the repechage now. So we wish him all the best in the upcoming racing. And he will be joining in the repechage. This is 4 riders going up against each other. Germany's Jan Voster, Great Britain's Sam Dickinson, and Germany's Flo Gruber. So 4 riders, and then the top 2 finishers across the finish line will go up against the 2 quarterfinalists who have already booked their place there. That's the Olympic champion from Austria, Valentin Bontis, and Monaco's Alexander Aylen. So we see who comes through the repechage to join the quarterfinalists, and then the top 2 from the quarterfinal will compete in a single race to join our 2 current semi-finalists. and that is Benoit Gomez from France and Jan Stragiotti, son of my co-commentator Flavio. He's currently in 4th place. That means he's already got a spot in the semi-final, and the top 2 from the semis will go through to take the 2 remaining spots in the 4-rider final. And so semi-finalists 1st and 2nd in that race will be joining Martin Dolenc from Croatia, who's already got 1 win for having come 2nd in the qualifying series, and Max Mader from Singapore, who's already on 2 wins for having won the qualifying series and already wearing the yellow bib. So his reward for Max Mader is that he's on 2 wins. Anyone to win this championship needs 3 wins. That means Max Mader only needs to win 1 race today and he becomes the champion of Trounsey. But I hope that from what you can see from this graphic, anybody can still win on the final day. And Jan Krzyzowski has leapt the first hurdle. He's grabbed the golden ticket. And let's see how far Jan Krzyzowski can go. Can he get all the way onto the podium? Amazingly, we've seen this happen before in the Wing 4 Racing World Cup, but this is the first time we've trialled the system in the KiteFoil Racing World Series, and this is potentially what we could be seeing in the next Olympic Games, because one Olympic Games has just gone past. We've got 4 years until Los Angeles 2028, and we are searching for as close as we can to the perfect format. And we think that Paris was very good in some ways, but it's sometimes a little bit difficult to predict how long the competition is going to last because of the way that the semi-finals were structured. So just to update you, that's the postponement flag, the red and white striped flag. So there's a postponement until we wait for the course to settle down or the wind to settle down. I have to say, Flavio, the wind actually looks pretty good. So I don't think it's a lack of wind we're looking at, is it?
No, it looks really good. Not sure if the course is ready because they have to reset it to short track races. I believe so.
Yeah, so that could be it. That could be what we're looking at first.
That's a kind of first for all of us with this new system concept.
We've got 5.5 minutes until the next start. So that's what we're here.
Yeah, we actually see the marks traveling.
Yeah, so explain that, Fabio. We got self-moving marks.
Yes, they are robot marks, so they can travel on the lake, so it makes it dramatically quicker for the race organizers to reset the course, and they are GPS controlled, so it's a big advantage. As long as you don't have a crashed kite with lines in because they have propellers and motors, so that can be, it's a bit of a learning. I think we had some incidents 2 days ago where we had a kite in a mark.
They're quite comical, aren't they? I love seeing these marks moving around by themselves. They're like wizard's hats moving around by themselves, and they not that we have any current or tide on Lake Trounsey, of course, but those marks are capable of holding their own even in quite strong current, which we saw in The Hague last year at the World Championships. But yeah, super clever technology. And as you say, Flavio, it just makes it a little bit easier to reposition things, because I don't know if you know, I don't know how deep this lake is, but it's probably more than 100 meters deep, probably quite a bit more.
It could be. We have lakes in Switzerland where it is actually a problem to set marks because it's so long to anchor them. So those marks are super efficient. Well, it looks like they stopped. And they travel quite quick, so it's amazing to reset the
Isn't
course.
it? And just to remind you, we got 3 minutes 45 until the next start, and our 4 riders that we're going to be watching in this repechage are Sam Dickinson from Great Britain, Flo Gruber from Germany, Jan Voster from Germany, and our golden ticket winner from Poland, Jan Krzyzowski, who just dominated the previous race, looking really, really fast. And I wonder if Jan can cause some kind of upset. And this format is the first 2 go through to the next round, and the last 2 drop out of the competition. So there's a lot riding on this, and we've got some very experienced riders such as Flo Gruber, 30 years old, been in this game for a long, long time, won a number of world championships in kiting over the years, and then we've got the young guns, Sam Dickinson, Jan Kozowski, and Jan Voster. 2 minutes 50 to the start. Let's have a quick break. We'll come back to you shortly.
Entsteht dort, wo Menschen neue Wege gehen. Gemeinsam erschaffen wir, was alleine nie entstanden wäre. Wir tragen alles, was es dazu braucht, in uns. Einzeln sind wir stark, gemeinsam sind wir noch stärker. Es ist das Wir, das uns alles erreichen lässt.
Raiffeisen. Wir macht's mit.
2 minutes 15 to the start, and there's a bit of a pleasure cruiser enjoying the view. This is Sunday early afternoon on Lake Transi. It's a busy day on the water, and why not? We're getting a little bit of an extended summer here in Lake Transi, about mid 20 degrees air temperature. Water is nice and warm at this time of year, great for swimming. But hopefully no swimming for our 4 riders about to take part in the men's repechage. We've got the medal series underway. We've got the golden ticket decided. Jan Kozowski now joining 3 other riders in what we call the repechage, and it's all about finishing in the top 2. It doesn't matter whether you finish first in this race, just as long as you finish first or second, that's what counts. And Flavio, we've seen mostly people starting on starboard tack. The left-hand side of the course seems to pay, so getting into that left-hand side of the cliffs seems to be the winning strategy here, doesn't it?
Yeah, from a wind perspective, yes. Well, riders did confirm there is a bit more leaves in the water, so you may trade off a bit by having difficulty with the foil. If you want to avoid the leaves, then you may not go too close to the shore.
That's interesting. Okay, so that if you go too far towards the cliffs, too close to the shore, the leaf build-up gets bigger and bigger, and leaves can slow down a foiling board travelling at 30 knots quite significantly, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
32 seconds. Just in the final run-in to the start. $20 seconds to go. Sam Dickinson from Great Britain, Flo Gruber from Germany, Jan Voster from Germany, and Jan Kozowski from Poland. All lining up. Three seconds to go, and they get their kites into the power zone, and they're off. And it's a clear start, so everybody is in the game. We've got 2 of the older 23 square metre fly surfers on the leeward side, and further towards the committee boat end, we've got the 2 new fly surfers, Jan Kozowski and Flo Gruber. So Jan Kozowski and Flo Gruber started up near the committee boat. Sam Dickinson is on the far left. Jan Voster, the next one along. Jan Kozowski and Flo Gruber on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if the 23 is still faster than the new 21.
So just to explain, the 23 square metres, those lime green and grey kites, that have been the weapons of choice for the past 2 seasons on the Formula Kite circuit. But for this Olympic cycle, 23 square metres is no longer permitted in Formula Kite events. You can still use whatever you like at a KiteFoil World Series, but everyone else is starting to have to get used to working with just 21 square metres. And I'm wondering, like Flavio says, if the older technology with the extra 2 square metres is going to prove an advantage, and especially on the downwind legs. Currently we're going to the first upwind leg, is really, really close, and Flo Gruber with a marginal advantage, but super close between the top 4 right now. And here we go, absolutely simultaneous tack between all 4, with Flo Gruber in the lead just ahead of Jan Kozowski, but it's changing all the time because Jan Voster and Sam Dickinson right in the mix. Around goes Flo Gruber in the lead, doing close to 30 knots of speed, followed closely by Jan Voster and Jan Kozowski, and Sam Dickinson just slightly at the back. A jibe off by Jan Kozowski. He's the first to jibe away. Flo Gruber still holding on a little bit longer. So Flo Gruber with the red kite, top right of picture, looking in control. And Jan Kozowski with the other red kite on the attack from this side of the course. And we've seen that working quite well on previous days, but this is still extremely close between all four riders right now. There's not much in it at all. Flavio, where would you rather be on this racetrack right now?
Yeah, probably would go more towards the shore, as I believe the wind is stronger.
And they're all doing just over 30 knots. Flo Gruber still coming around, and looks like there's a gust about to reach Flo Gruber, so he remains in control with Jan Voster making it a Germany 1-2 right now, and Jan Kozowski also in the mix. That's looking like Jan Kozowski's going for an early tack. Now, we don't often see the right-hand side in the early stages working out particularly well. Also, it's the two Jans that have tacked off. Jan Kozowski and Jan Voster have tacked off to the right-hand side. Sam Dickinson biding his time with Flo Gruber. Now Sam Dickinson tacking away. Flo Gruber continuing up towards this side of the course, which is probably the safer bet strategically. This is typically where the best wind is, although as Flavio pointed out earlier, you can get a build-up of leaves in the water as well. So that's the risk of being on this side of the course. And now we see Flo Gruber tack his pink kite onto port tack, and he's not left himself much ley line there. There's not many tactical choices left for Flo to make, and it's just a matter of how is he going to come out against the two Jans that were the first to tack off on the far side.
That's an interesting moment now to see when he hits the ley line, Flo, and it could look good. Yes.
And even though he didn't cover the others, it's actually worked out to be a winning move for Flo Gruber. He's probably stretched a little bit more of a lead now ahead of the chasing pack. Sam Dickinson up to second, and Jan Voster and Jan Kozowski bringing up the rear. So that early bailout to the right-hand side really didn't work out particularly well for the two Jans. So this is all for Flo Gruber and Sam Dickinson to try and hold on to the top two spots. Remember that it doesn't matter whether you're first or second across the line, just don't be third or fourth. First and second book their place.
This is now where the 23 typically would have an advantage, having a larger sail in the downwind to higher speed, so that could play now for Sam.
And maybe Sam will be able to close the gap. He has got better boat speed downwind than Flo Gruber. He's about 2 knots faster, doing about 29 knots to Flo Gruber's 27 knots. So Sam Dickinson certainly closing the gap, but uppermost in his mind will to be just to make sure that he gets one of those top two spots. There's the silliest thing that Flo Gruber and Sam Dickinson could do now is start getting in a race for bragging rights to finish first across the line. They just need to be in the top two. Flo Gruber goes around the bottom of the course, already approaching the slalom mark. His red kite goes in the air. Around goes Flo Gruber for the final jibe of this repechage race. That should be enough, provided he can stay on the foil to book his spot in the next round in the quarterfinals. And Flo Gruber just moments away from booking his place in the quarterfinal, closely followed by Great Britain's Sam Dickinson in second with the 23 square metre fly surfer kite. So congratulations to the German and the British riders who go through to the next round. Commiserations to the two Jans, to Jan Voster from Germany and Jan Kozowski from Poland. They go no further in the competition, but still well sailed by them. It was a close call early on in that race before Flo Gruber really managed to exert his experience on the race. And that's Gruber and Dickinson safely through to the next round. Quick break and back to you shortly. So there we have it. The results of the men's repechage saw Flo Gruber and Sam Dickinson go through. Jan Voster and Jan Krzyzowski now go out of the competition. Next start is at 12:55. So that is just 2.5 minutes away, and that will be the women's quarterfinal. And here we'll see Derin Atakan of Turkey go up against Ella Geiger of Great Britain, Sophie Rennie of Great Britain, and Monika Zislavska. So there's our four on the left-hand side of your picture. And if I could just get my voice out of, that's it. Okay, so that gives you the structure of the racing here. And just as we saw with the men in this quarterfinal for the women, it's a matter of who out of Atakan, Geiger, Zislavska and Rennie gets one of the top two spots. They will then qualify to go up against Gal Zuckerman from Israel and Alina Korleni from Austria in the semi-finals. Then again, the top two from that will be joining the two that have already booked their place in the four-rider women's final. That's Elena Lengweiler from Switzerland, Jessie Kampmann from France. Lengweiler from Switzerland being one of the top performers of this season and doing very well at the Olympic Games, and certainly one to watch in the coming years. We've got 1 minute to the start. And the girls will have seen what worked. And Flavio, as we saw, it's pretty clear that going to that left-hand side of the race course is the key move, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Flo just showed that you do well if you're lucky with the leaves or manage that well, then you can take this extra push on that side and tack late and come in very high up on the lay line, like Flo did. He tacked and did the mark grounding almost immediately, so he took full benefit of that stronger area of the course.
Which all makes the start extremely important, and we are 10 seconds away from the start. This is the women's quarterfinal about to get underway. 3, 2, 1, go. Kites down into the power zone, and we've got two British riders, Sophie Rennie and Ella Geiger, up against Turkey's Derin Atakan and Monika Zislavska from Czechia. And really solid start by Derin Atakan. Sophie Rennie also going well. Monika Zislavska a little bit further back. Ella Geiger a little bit further back. And Sophie Rennie struggling to hold her line. At the moment, it's Derin Atakan who's sailing a really high line and managing to push a little bit of a windward advantage over the other riders right now. So early doors, it's looking like Turkey's Derin Atakan has got the best VMG towards the top of the course. And that's Derin Atakan first to tack away. She's got the TUR on her yellow and grey fly surfer. She is bottom of screen. There's the TUR of Turkey, the kite that she would have used at the Olympic Games recently, representing Turkey. And closely followed by Great Britain's Ella Geiger. And meanwhile, a little bit further over to the left, they sailed a little bit further into the left-hand corner, Sophie Rennie from Great Britain and Monika Zislavska from Czechia, and a little bit further back. So it's Ella Geiger from Great Britain who's posing the strongest threat to Derin Atakan, but the Turkish rider now going into the last tack of the first leg, and already she's got a significant advantage. So if Atakan carries on this way, she's going to book her spot in the next round, and that's going to be into the semi-finals. And then it's a matter of who else are these other three, Ella Geiger, Sophie Rennie and Monika Zislavska, who will get that second spot. Of course, I may be calling it a little bit too early for Derin Atakan. It's still early days. We're not halfway through this race. But Atakan looking extremely strong followed by Ella Geiger in second, and a bit of a gap now. So Geiger, if she keeps the wheels on her wagon, is looking fairly strong for taking that second place through to the next round. Flavio, these smaller kite sizes that are now being used for this next Olympic cycle, we're coming down 2 square meters in the men and the women for maximum permitted kite size. The idea is to limit the weight of the riders, to disincentivize being super heavy. How much of an effect do you think the smaller kites will have on that?
Yeah, in very light wind conditions, yes, it may. But then when there are strong winds, I think weight still plays a role. You just need to bring that force to the foil to build the speed.
I think we're seeing a little bit of the effect of the smaller kites and the lighter winds on some of the racing that we've seen here this week. I feel like people are starting to revise their view, and some of the men's riders have said that they probably don't want to be more than 95 or maybe maximum 100 kg. We've got some riders who are above that at the moment, but I wonder if that trend is going to change, and yeah, we'll see. But Darren Atakan, meanwhile, she's not a particularly big rider, but going very well in this race at the moment. The Turkish kite going up in the air. She's already fairly far into the left-hand corner and sailing a pretty straightforward race right now, not having to push too hard. That's Ella Geiger from Great Britain in second with the pink fly surfer kite. So Geiger looking fairly solid for getting the second spot. Darren Atakan out of shot, but still sailing very comfortably, sailing a slightly lower line, a defensive line against Ella Geiger, but the Turkish kite goes up in the sky for the last tack of this race. That's the last tack that Darren Atakan will need to do to get to the top of the course for the final time. And you can see that she's actually stretched her advantage even on Ella Geiger in second place, who meanwhile has stretched her advantage on the next two, Zislavska from Czechia and Rennie from Great Britain. Atakan safely round the top of the course for the final time, and now Ella Geiger also around the top mark. Just bringing her kite down into the power zone. And here's our leader, Turkish rider Darren Atakan. With Olympic experience behind her now, she's completed her first Olympics and carrying on through for the next Olympic cycle to Los Angeles 2028 with that vital experience of understanding what it's like to be in an Olympic Games. And there's nothing quite like it. And Flavio, I'm sure your son Jan is very much focused on getting to the next Games.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a saying that after the Olympics, the next one starts. So it's basically the campaigning is starting now. Yes,
with not much of a gap. It's not even a month since the last Olympic Games. And here we are getting back into the racing already. And Darren Atakan sailing a fantastic race, going around the slalom mark, successfully jibing her fly surfer kite. And it's Darren Atakan who wins the quarterfinal race. She books one of the two spots available, and that means the Turkish rider will progress through to the semi-finals, where she'll be going up against Israel's Gail Zuckerman and Austria's Alina Corneli. So congratulations to Darren Atakan, and provided that Ella Geiger safely gets through the jibe mark and across the line on this final high-speed reach to the finish, then the British rider Ella Geiger will also be taking a spot through to the next round. So congratulations to those two. Commiserations to Monika Zislavska and Sophie Rennie, who bring up the rear in this race, so they won't be going any further in the competition. But it's been a great few days of racing in Lake Transy. Really good experience in this flat water, freshwater conditions of Lake Transy here in Upper Austria. So that's the end of our women's quarterfinal. We'll go to a quick break. Back to you shortly.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert echt.
So there's the beautiful view of Lake Trounsey on a Sunday afternoon in early September. And here's who we have lined up for the next round. This is Gal Zuckerman from Israel, Alina Corneli from Austria, to be joined by our winner of the race, Derin Atakan, and Ella Geiger from Great Britain. We are just a few minutes away from the start of the next men's race, and we're going to be seeing the Olympic champion for the first time today. That's Valentin Bonsis from Austria, Alexander Ellen from Monaco, being joined by the winners of the top two spots from the repechage. That's Germany's Flo Gruber and Great Britain's Sam Dickinson. Now, we're going to have a switchover of co-commentator. So I want to say to you, Flavio, thank you very much for joining us, and I wish you all the best, and Jan Stragiotti, your son, all the best in the upcoming semi-finals that we're going to be seeing him a little bit later on today. So we're going to let you focus on his competition, and we're going to be bringing in one of our competitors who just went out in the golden ticket race. So Flavio, all the best, and look forward to seeing you later on this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and I will go and support Jan.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers, Flavio. We have 2 minutes 30 to the next start. We'll go to a quick ad break, and then I'll introduce you to my new co-commentator.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert.
So we have 1 minute 45 to the start of the next race. Just enough time to introduce my new co-commentator, Benny Boeli.
Hi.
Hi, Benny. Nice to see you. And congratulations for how you sailed this week. Now, you haven't really raced much for the last 6 years, I understand.
No, I did not race at all. I had a few training sessions and for sure testing all the new VMG prototypes, but I've not been on the start line since I think 2018. So yeah.
So I imagine you came in with very few expectations. But you've sailed extremely well from what I can see this week. How do you rate your performance? You must be happy.
I am happy. I was expecting a bit better performance today, actually. But yeah, I had a really bad start. I was too late to the start because I checked out the right side of the course because I was pretty sure it was better. But I wanted to make sure. So yeah, anyway, bad start. Then one tech missed, and yeah, whatever. It is what it is. I'm happy. It was really cool to race again, and also flying and see especially new equipment flying.
And just to give you a little bit of context, Benny is the designer of the Fly Surfer kites, and so he knows so much about the technology that goes into these amazing kites. And from what I can see, Benny, you've got representation with 3 out of the 4 kites that we can see. Is that correct?
Yes.
We've got 8 seconds to go. So the kite's just coming down into the power zone, just about to get fully launched. Let's see if it's going to be a clear start. And off they go, and it is a clear start. And let's see, we've got Sam Dickinson, Flo Gruber, Valentin Bontus and Alex Aylen. Now, I don't know if you can identify who's who in these early stages.
Yes, so Alexander Aylen would be on the element kite, the black and red kite. Then we have Florian Gruber, he's on the pink fly surfer VMG. Now we just saw a crash from Valentin, I think. Yeah, Valentin is on the dark red VMG3.
So disaster for Valentin Bontus, the reigning Olympic champion. He gets up and running now. And just to remind you that you don't need to win this race, but you do need to finish in the top two. And Bontus, with that crash, he's diving out to the right-hand side. I wonder if that, well, you know better than anyone, Benny. I think you felt the right-hand side wasn't working.
Well, the right-hand side, I think, was working quite well, but it's quite gusty because you need to go pretty far to the wall. But there is a wind shift, so I think the right side is better. But yeah.
So this is not good for Bontus right now. Remember, he is the local hero from Austria, one of only 2 Austrians to win gold medals at the recent Olympic Games. So he's really hot property, and local fans would love to see Bontus get through to the next round, but he's got it all to do. Benny, how do you think it's worked out for him from the right-hand side? Is it still in the race?
It's hard to tell because he's quite far behind because of his crash. But I think he caught up a bit. So we have the first rounding.
Oh, another crash.
That was Sam
Dickinson. So it's looking like difficult conditions out there. So we've had 2 crashes so far, but Valentin Bontus still to go around the windward mark. He goes around now, but right now it looks like it would be Flo Gruber and Alex Aylen in the top 2 spots, who are looking most likely to take the 2 spots to go through to the next round. So a lot for Sam Dickinson to do there. That's who we're seeing trying to get going again. Really unfortunate for him, but at the moment it looks like a race for Flo Gruber and Alex Aylen, and they can actually cruise at the front. They don't really need to be competing against each other. It's a different strategy when you've got 2 spots up for grabs, Benny.
Yeah, so I would suggest not taking each other out between Flo and Alex. As you said, they don't need to push too hard. But yeah.
I remember Flo Gruber qualified through from the repechage, so at the moment Flo Gruber looking likely that he's going to grab the first of 2 spots to go through to the semi-finals. So really good riding by the 30-year-old from Germany. A lot of people look upon him as the granddaddy of this fleet at age 30, but you age 35. I don't know what that makes you. I mean,
well, it makes me a master. I think I'm the only guy racing in the masters class, so I'm not sure if we do a masters ranking.
Right. Well, you'd be lonely on the podium, wouldn't you? So
yes.
I think we can.
I don't want to be lonely on the podium.
You want others to join you.
Yeah.
We've got Alex Aylen on the right, a picture doing a lower and faster mode, and Gruber doing a slightly higher and slower mode. So 2 different types of moding that we're seeing here, Benny.
Yes, and we see also Valentin going out on the right side. So he did a really early tack after bottom mark. So let's see. I think he also thinks that the right side is better. But yeah, he was quite far behind actually. So let's see if it works out.
Let's see what he can do. Still very close between Alex Aylen and Flo Gruber for bragging rights to be able to win this race. We're looking at the scalloped sort of wave leading edge of Alex Aylen's element kite up against the fly surf of Flo Gruber, but it looks like Flo Gruber is holding the smallest of advantages over. They've just gone past the spacer mark. That's not the windward mark. Flo Gruber just getting a little bit of windward advantage there, and good tacks by both, but it's super tight. And I'm wondering if these 2 are getting a little bit carried away with each other here, Benny. Is there an opportunity for Valentin Bontus to capitalise on these 2 in their match race?
Well, if they take each other out with a tangle, for example, it's easy for Valentin because usually it takes quite a while to get going again after a crash. So let's see. But yeah, if they keep sailing clean, then it's gonna be really hard for Valentin. He also, I don't know, he did not jibe yet. I thought he was lifting the kite. He decided to go further. But let's see. Looking good for Flo.
Yeah, Flo Gruber still leading just ahead of Alex Aylen, and then off to the left of picture. Now in the middle of our picture, that is Valentin Bontas in third. He needs to grab one of these top 2 places for the Olympic champion from Austria to go any further in the competition here on the home waters of Lake Transi. So he can only do what he can do. He just has to hope that one of these 2 at the front, is it going to be Flo Gruber or Alex Aylen, are either of them going to make a mistake? Every manoeuvre has jeopardy attached to it in this high-speed kite foiling, but they both safely get through the jibe, and Flo Gruber still just ahead of Alex Aylen. And they go round the bottom of the course for the final time. Now it's out to the slalom mark. Flo Gruber still leading. Alex Aylen and his kite go up into the air, going round in second. Now, Alex Aylen, he could push hard. He could try and overtake for bragging rights on Flo Gruber. I don't think they're fully pushing, but it's not going to matter. Valentin Bontas has certainly closed the gap back in third. He's pushing as hard as he possibly can, but it's not going to be enough because going through to the semi-finals after a great race, a great match race between Flo Gruber of Germany and Alex Aylen of Monaco, it's these 2 that go through to the next round, and Valentin Bontas, the Olympic champion, goes no further in the competition, nor does Sam Dickinson from Great Britain. It's thanks very much, but goodbye to them. But it's hello, Flo Gruber. Hello, Alex Aylen. You are going through to the next round. You're going to be going up against Benoit Gomez and Jan Stragiotti in the men's semi-final.
This will be interesting because we'll have 2 element kites and 2 fly surfer kites. So we'll have a full new equipment.
Well, I know where you're going to be cheering. The designer of the fly surfers with me, Benny Boelli. Great to have you here, Benny. We're going to have a quick break and we'll come back to you shortly.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert echt.
So there we have it. Congratulations to Flo Gruber and Alex Aylen, the German and the Monegasque riders going through to the next round. They'll be going into the semi-finals. Meanwhile, our next race that we're going to be focusing on are the women's semi-finals, and we're going to be seeing another Austrian rider, Alina Corneli, Israel's Gal Zuckerman, already in the semi-final, and joining them, it's going to be Derin Atakan and Ella Geiger, the Turkish and the British riders are going to be joining them in this 4-rider semi-final. And again, it's a single race semi-final. Top 2 go through to the final. Top 2 exit the competition. And Benny, we saw the Olympic champion Valentin Bontas having a look at the right-hand side. I've been quite dismissive of the right-hand side, but you say there are opportunities on the right.
Yes, so I ride quite a lot on Lake Transi here because it's only 1.5 hours drive from the office. So we do quite a lot of testing here, and usually there is always a wind shift on the right-hand side. But it also is a bit gustier, so it depends also on the overall wind direction, how gusty it really gets, and sometimes it can be really beneficial going really close to the wall. So, and I think because Valentin made up good space after his crash, so I think the right side was working.
Okay. And he really did close the gap towards the end, didn't he? I don't know how hard the front 2 were pushing, Flo Gruber and Alex Aylen, but Bontus was pushing hard down that final run and on the final reaches, and it was almost enough, maybe another lap, and he might have closed the gap, but a little bit disappointing for Valentin not to go further in the competition, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you have a crash, especially if you have quite short races, then yeah, it's really hard to win the race.
So this is a different system that we're trialing. The benefit of this system is that it's more predictable in terms of scheduling time, which is always important for TV when you're talking about things like the Olympics. That's one of the reasons why we're trying this system. And generally, it seems to be pretty well received by the kiters. But sometimes when you have a crash, like Valentin Bontus did, you probably think, oh, that was a bit unfair. But anyway, it was a mistake, and Valentin didn't execute, unfortunately, and is not going further in the competition. But we are 10 seconds away from the start of the women's semi-final. Kite's about to go into the power zone. Will it be a clear start? Looking like a good start coming off the pin end. We'll identify who that is in a moment. Benny, you want to take a stab at anybody? I think it's Alina Corneli off the pin end.
Yeah, Alina likes to go on the pin end because I was match racing her quite a lot on the pin end the last days. So yeah, Alina is on the pin. Then we have
Ella Geiger is next up from Alina Corneli, and then closer to screen the yellow Turkish kite of Darian Atakan, and Gal Zuckerman using the Element kite and wearing the red bib. That's Gal Zuckerman from Israel, closest to picture. And at this stage, who would you rather be? Would you rather be Gal Zuckerman or Alina Corneli, would you say?
I would be Gal, because she's in the wind better, because over to the left, if you go too far to the left, there is also a wind low close to the wall. So yeah, I think Gal is in a better position now.
And it looks like Alina Corneli, she's not in shot right now, but she just wasn't getting the same breeze. She was sailing a much lower line. And at the moment, it looks like it's a battle between Gal Zuckerman and Darian Atakan. And look at that pin end start was great for Alina Corneli out of the line, but it looks disastrous now. And she's totally playing catch up in 4th place. So you were right, Benny. You'd rather have been Gal Zuckerman, and it's Gal Zuckerman who swings her black and red kite back onto starboard tack and now gets around the windward mark in 1st place. So it's Israel leading, Turkey in 2nd, Great Britain in 3rd, and Austria in 4th. And like the previous races, it's all about being in the top 2. So Darian Atakan, we saw her coming through successfully from the previous round. At the moment, Darian Atakan from Turkey looks like she's going to be one of the 2 that manages to break through into the final. So what a great performance by the Turkish rider that would be if she manages to pull that off.
Was also really nice rounding from Gal. Sailed really clean, nice jibe. So yeah, she's having a good race.
And you, with your keen eye for good kite design, just what differences are you seeing between the Element kite being used by Gal Zuckerman and the fly surfers that you've designed?
Well, I think the biggest difference is the leading edge. It's really obvious. So the Element kite has a wave leading edge, and it's also used since a while in paragliding with chin gliders. And yeah, basically what it does, it's supposed to help you get less backstall and have a better downwind. And it's also a really high aspect kite. So like we went the same route, we also have quite high aspect VMG3 design, and I think the Ozone kite is the least high aspect wing, and I think we've seen it once or twice the last days, but yeah, not really a lot yet.
So the wave leading edge that you refer to, it reminds me a bit of a whale's fin with a sort of a scalloped sort of wavy. Well, that's why you call it a wave edge. You can really see it in that image there. Look at how the leading edge goes in and out and in and out. It's quite a nice looking kite, and there is the straighter leading edge of one of your fly surfer kites, and that's Alina Corneli with the kite that she used at the Olympics with the AUT 3-letter national symbol that helped identify who was who at the Olympic Games recently at the Marseille Regatta. But Alina Corneli with a lot to do if she's going to go through to the next round on home waters. Corneli from Austria bringing up the rear. Ella Geiger also chasing for one of those top 2 spots, but the top 2 spots are currently held by Darren Atakan in second and Gal Zuckerman still leading. Zuckerman about to come round the top mark for the final time.
Nice rounding again.
When you say nice rounding, what are you looking for there, Benny?
Basically going in the rounding with quite a lot of speed. So if you have to pump to make the mark, you usually go really slow and then you have to speed up again. And that's just, that will cost you some time. But if you go quite high, also Max Meder really likes to do this. So he goes really high on the top mark and then really slingshots to the downwind with a lot of speed. And yeah, you just want to keep the speed high.
So that makes a lot of sense, and it also puts you on a deeper line for sailing a good defensive position on any riders behind you, I suppose.
Exactly. So you can use your speed, which you gain on the upwind. You can use to really go with the kite, get the low downwind angle, and then accelerate again.
And you're saying that the new kites also are getting better for moding different angles downwind. You can go for speed downwind, or you can go for depth and find different modes for getting downwind. It sounds like the new generation of kites are a bit more versatile.
Yeah. So especially we were looking for more options on the race course, so you can basically play with your position a bit better. So we really focused on getting a really good high mode if you need to pinch high up.
Well, thanks, Benny. And meanwhile, across the finish line, just about to grab her spot in the final, it's Israel's Gal Zuckerman, who sailed an exemplary race on her Element kite, and followed by Darren Atakan, who goes through to the final, having come through from the quarterfinals. So absolutely fantastic sailing by the Turkish rider. So 2 victories for Israel and Turkey, and commiserations to Great Britain's Ella Geiger and Austria's Alina Corneli, who on this occasion haven't done enough to get through to the final. But it's going to be really exciting to see how Gal Zuckerman and Darren Atakan manage to do against the 2 who have already booked their place in the women's final. That's Jessie Kampmann from France and Elena Langweiler from Switzerland. A quick break and back to you shortly.
Steht dort, wo Menschen neue Wege gehen. Gemeinsam erschaffen wir, was alleine nie entstanden wäre. Wir tragen alles, was es dazu braucht, in uns. Einzeln sind wir stark, gemeinsam sind wir noch stärker. Es ist das Wir, das uns alles erreichen lässt.
Reifeisen. Wir machen's möglich.
So that was the finish of the women's semi-final. Israel's Gal Zuckerman and Turkey's Darren Atakan safely through to the final. We'll be bringing that to you fairly shortly. But next up on the list, we are now going to be looking at the semi-final. And I wonder how Benoit Gomez is going to be encouraged by seeing his girlfriend Gal Zuckerman doing well. Benoit Gomez being your counterpart at Element, I guess, Benny. He's the one of the designers for the Element kites with that wave leading edge. How much do you ever have a conversation about kite design, or do you play your thoughts very close to your chest between you and Benoit?
No, we did not really had a lot of chat yet, but usually, I mean, before registering the new product, we for sure try to keep the secrets secret. But after registration, everyone is looking at the designs from the other guys. So yeah, I think I will have a chat with him later on. And I actually wanted to try the kite also, but yeah, didn't get the chance yet.
Oh, okay, that would be fun. I saw that Alex Ellen is listed as fly surfer, and he does have one of your kites, but he's trialling the Element this week. So just on that screen, and as you said earlier, Benny, we're actually going to see a head-to-head, a 2 against 2 between 2 fly surfers and 2 elements. So just to remind you again, it's Benoit Gomez from France, Jan Stragiotti from Switzerland, the soon-to-be 17-year-old son of Flavio, my co-commentator from earlier in the afternoon, and the 2 qualifiers through from the quarterfinal. That's Germany's Flo Gruber and Monaco's Alex Aylen. We've got 1 minute 30 to the start, and we saw Flo Gruber doing very well in that previous race, and Alex Aylen for that matter. Could we see either or both of them get past Gomez and Stragiotti and grab their place in the final? What do you think, Benny?
I think so, because they already have one race today, so they know the conditions already. And yeah, let's see. I mean, it's gonna be for sure tight, because the new equipment, like you said before, has different or better high mode, low mode, like more options on the race course, and it's quite a short track. So let's see what happens.
Okay, let's see. We've got 38 seconds to go, and we've got 2 elements and 2 fly surfer kites approaching the line. That is Monaco's Alex Aylen at the bottom of screen, bottom right hand side. 23 seconds to go. Benoit Gomez with the other element kite, and the fly surfer kites being used by Jan Stragiotti and Flo Gruber. 8 seconds to go. Making quite a late run at it from the back. Alex Aylen dropping down into a second row start. Not a great start by Alex Aylen there. Who do you think's doing well out of that there, Benny? Who would you want to be? I think it's Flo Gruber up on the right-hand side near the committee boat. And it's Benoit Gomez more towards the pin end.
Yeah, I think Flo is in a good spot. Like before, if you go too far to the left, you will head straight into the wind hole, and yeah, basically he can take whenever he wants. So I think Flo is in a really good spot.
So sailing a little bit higher and a little bit slower, but maybe staying out of that patch of breeze that really caught out Alina Connelly in the previous race. I wonder how much he was paying attention to that, but I tend to agree with you. Going for that high line that Flo Gruber went for, I think is probably a good move. Benoit Gomez, the most left hand of the riders that we see, his kite just coming into view. There is Benoit Gomez with the French sticker on the front of his board. Super fast rider. Up until now, the only races, all the 12 races have been won by Max Mader from Singapore, who we'll see later on in the afternoon. The only other winner being Benoit Gomez. He's the only rider to have taken a race win away from Max Mader, who, for your information, is also using a fly surfer. But here we see Benoit Gomez tacking his element into the sky in close competition with Jan Stragiotti from Switzerland, and also very, very close between all 4 right now. It's very tight racing, and there's only 2 spots available to go through to the final. Stragiotti marginally gets round in the lead, just ahead of Aylen, just ahead of Gomez, and Flo Gruber still very much in the hunt as well. So this is pretty much as it was off the start line. There's nothing to choose.
Yeah, it's really, really close between them, and yeah, now it comes down to the first downwind. But yeah, there is still 1 full lap to go, so everything can happen basically.
Now, this is very exciting. I know it's been great news for you over the last couple of seasons, because it's been a fly surfer monopoly, Benny. But me as a neutral, I love to see two brands going head to head like this, two elements and two fly surfers. It's great competition, isn't it? And it must be super exciting for you. Are you a little bit nervous about the outcome of these races?
A little bit, but in the end, it is what it is. And if the element is the faster kite, then for sure, hats off to Benoit and Hausi, who is the designer from Element. And yeah, let's see. I mean, I think it's gonna be also coming down to the conditions a bit, because usually the kites are flying. Oh, we have a tangle.
Oh no! Oh, this is not good news.
No, this is John and Alex
Alen. So we've got one element and one fly surfer in a tangle with each other. It's Benoit Gomez who shows a clean pair of heels to the rest of the fleet, and it looks like it's Flo Gruber who is profiting from the tangle. So Flo Gruber manages to work his way from fourth, manages to avoid the tangle. And it looks like Gruber and Gomez, if they can just keep their noses clean, are going to go through to the final, because this is a disastrous tangle for Alex Alen and Jan Stragiotti. Oh, how unfortunate. But that's what happens in a tight race sometimes, Benny.
Yeah, I mean, Benoit sailing a really, really clean race. What you can also see, he's leading by quite far, and yeah, I'm not sure who caused the tangle, if it was John or Alex, but let's see the outcome. I think there will be a protest, or at least a penalty.
Let's wait and see whether that's going to affect the outcome. As things stand at the moment, there's a lot of work for Alex Alen and Jan Stragiotti to do to get back into the competition, because it's Benoit Gomez with quite a healthy lead, with Flo Gruber, who moved up from fourth into second place after that tangle, and Alex Alen and Jan Stragiotti, they're up and running again, but they're probably 30 seconds back from Flo Gruber now. Around the top mark for the final time, it's the black and red kite of Benoit Gomez, the French rider, one of the co-designers of the Element kite, being chased by Flo Gruber, using one of the new fly surfers being designed by my co-commentator here in the booth, Benny Boeli.
This is a pretty big lead from Benoit. And I'm not sure if Flo is really pushing, but yeah, I mean, if he stays in second, then he will go straight to the final also with Benoit together. So yeah, I think he's focusing on sailing a clean race and just not crash.
That would seem to be the sensible thing. It takes the pressure off in some ways to have two going through from each race.
And you can save some energy for the final, because they will need it.
That's for sure. That's for sure, because the final is not just a one hit and you're done. Well, it can be. It depends what happens. Max Mader is the man in pole position. He only needs to win one race. Martin Dolenc from Croatia went through to the final in second place. He needs to take two more race wins. And whoever qualifies from this semi-final, it's looking like Benoit Gomez and Flo Gruber, they will need to win 3 races if they get through to the final. Well, it's looking increasingly like Benoit Gomez, who has sailed such a clean race, the French rider, looking very comfortable. He's cruising towards the finish line, and Gomez will be delighted to grab his spot in the final, whilst his rivals were caught up in a tangle behind him. And the other rider to profit from that tangle, Flo Gruber, still with some sailing to be done, but Flo Gruber looking like he's gonna grab the second spot for Germany to go through into the final later on this afternoon. But it is protest pending, as we see, so we'll have to wait and see what the outcome of that protest is and how that might affect the final outcome. But I don't know if that could affect whether Gomez goes through. I mean, so we've just heard that there is already an outcome from that protest, and Alex Alen from Monaco is disqualified. So it doesn't really affect what happens, but
yeah, he will not be happy about this.
And that was that Flo Gruber we were seeing just then.
Yes.
He looked like he was in doubt about whether or not he's got that spot, but we believe that Gomez and Gruber do grab their spots to go through to the final. And Stragiotti unfortunately doesn't make the cut, and Alex Ellen being disqualified from that tangle with Stragiotti. Alex Ellen also exits the competition at this stage. Anyway, that was a bit of excitement, Benny. You predicted it was going to be a tight one, and so it proved.
Well, in the end, it was not really that tight anymore because of the tangle.
True. But up till that point, I mean, the windward mark, there was nothing to choose between the four of them. But at the bottom of the course, wasn't much to choose between the four of them. And yes, that tangle changed everything, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, it seems the element kite is working really well, especially in the hands of Benoit. I mean, I think he has the most hours on this kite anyway, testing it or being the main test person with Hausi together. And yeah, let's see. But it seems like Benoit is really motivated to put his kite on the podium.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. I mean, this is his opportunity to see if he can take on the might of Fly Surfer, because you guys have been so dominant the past couple of seasons. Anyway, we will go to a quick break. We'll be back to you shortly.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert.
So, we have completed the knockout rounds of the women's competition and the men's competition for that matter. We are into finals. If you've seen KiteFoil racing before, then we are sticking with the same format as we've used for the last few seasons. And this is a first to 3 wins format. And the qualifiers from the opening series, who've sailed the best throughout the whole week, they already got their spots in the women's semi-final, and that is Elena Lengweiler from Switzerland and Jessie Kampmann from France. And Kampmann from France is already on 2 wins, so she only needs to win 1 race and she will take the championship. That will be her first ever victory at a KiteFoil World Series, so that will be a nice feather in her cap. But Elena Lengweiler, if she can take a race off the rest of the fleet in race 1, then she will move to match point, and it will be 2 riders, Lengweiler and Kampmann, on match point. But what can Gal Zuckerman and Derin Atakan do? Particularly Derin Atakan, because she's come all the way through from the quarterfinals. She's come through the semis, and now the Turkish rider finds herself in the final. She's going to need to win 3 races, as will Israel's Gal Zuckerman, if they're going to get past Lengweiler and Kampmann. But we've seen this before, and Benny, I love this format. It rewards the consistent performance throughout the week, but it leaves the door open for the last day performers like Atakan to show what they can do. So it could be exciting.
For sure. I also really like the format. Yeah, like you said, anything can happen, but it still rewards you better for your performance. And I saw in the picture before that with Elena, there is still, she's marked with element, but she's actually on the VMG2 on a 23 meter. So yeah, now she can still race it, but in the future she will need to go to a 19.
Interesting.
So let's see.
So she's on a 23.
Yes.
Right, you don't often see that in women's competition. So what will Elena Lengweiler's choice of 23 square meters deliver for her in this race? We've got 2 clear leaders out at the start. That's a great start by Gal Zuckerman to leeward, and also by Jessie Kampmann wearing the yellow bib. So really good starts for those 2 right now. A little bit further back, it's Elena Lengweiler and Derin Atakan. Elena Lengvila in the middle of your picture now, wearing the blue, and you can see the SUI on her kite. She also represented Switzerland at the recent Olympic Games.
I'm not sure if Darren is also on a 23 or if it's a 21, but yeah, for sure it's not a 19 because there is no 19 VMG2.
Okay. Well, we've got quite a different array of kites right now. Good start by Gail Zuckerman using the black and red element kite, and also Jessie Campman going extremely well. Both kites going in the sky at the same time. I don't think any of the women's riders have beaten Jessie Campman in a race so far this week. Campman been absolutely dominant, but this is a different style of racing. They've been sailing in a big fleet, men and women together on the same race course. This is a different style of tactics, and at the moment Gail Zuckerman has a marginal advantage over Jessie Campman, and Elena Lengvila also coming up fast. Darren Atakan a little bit back, but this is pretty much a three-horse race right now.
Yeah, I think they overlaid a tiny bit because they were really going fast to the safety mark. So yeah, Elena I think had the best ley line, so she's also leading now. So let's see.
Right, and Elena Lengvila, as you said, has the 23 square metre kite. Well, this is where the extra horsepower of the 23 square metre is really going to come into play. And there goes the jibe with the Swiss rider still leading, the blue bib of Elena Lengvila, just ahead of Israel's Gail Zuckerman.
So Jessie went for a late jibe. Let's see.
And Jessie Campman, who's won every race in the women's competition so far this week, back in third, and not too far back, Darren Atakan, who's done so well so far this week. Still a lot to play for in this race right now. Coming down towards the bottom of the course, Elena Lengvila with the biggest kite on the racetrack, making that work to her advantage. The Swiss rider having gained a little bit of distance ahead of Gail Zuckerman, coming round in second, just ahead of Jessie Campman in third. Darren Atakan in fourth, but still in the race. Not much to choose between these four right now. There's Gail Zuckerman with the red bib just ahead of Jessie Campman in the yellow. That's the battle for second and third. But remember, we now move away from being in the top two. That was what it was all about, going through the knockout rounds. This is all about posting wins on the board. And if Elena Lengvila manages to win this race, then she will move to match point, same as Jessie Campman. So this is a vital win for Elena Lengvila. It's also vital that Gail Zuckerman and Darren Atakan try and put a win on the board. And after leading in the early stages, Gail Zuckerman is struggling to hold on to the superior speed and power of Lengvila, who's looking just a tad quicker pretty much all around the course, would you say, Benny?
Yeah, she's having a really, really clean race, and also has really good speed. So yeah, she's leading, but she still needs to keep sailing clean. Otherwise, I think if she has one crash, Gail and Jessie will be right there.
Lengvila, her last tack of this race, and looking comfortable around the top of the course. That decision to go with the 23 square metre looks to be working well for Switzerland right now, but we've seen crashes in some of the other races. I just saw Gail Zuckerman pumping the board. It looks like it's soft up at the top of the course, Benny. That's been a characteristic of the racing this week.
Yeah, today the top mark is not that far upwind, so the course is a bit shorter because we for sure have less wind than the last 2 days, at least less than yesterday. So yesterday the upwind mark was quite far upwind, and yeah, today it's a bit shorter.
Elena Lengvila looking increasingly likely, like she's going to post her first win on the board and draw level with Jessie Campman. Lengvila getting the kite up into the sky, stretching further away from Gal Zuckerman with the black and red kite also going up into the sky. Pretty close between Campman and Zuckerman, and Atakan still in the hunt as well, but no one's going to take this away from Elena Lengvila right now. There's the battle for second and third between Zuckerman and Campman, but they just can't get close to Lengvila right now. Lengvila coming across the line, and that is a race win for Lengvila. That means the Swiss rider draws level on points with Jessie Campman, and Lengvila moves to match point.
And there was a crash from Gal, so Jessie is in second position right now.
Well spotted, Benny. So a crash for Gal Zuckerman in the closing stages of the race. So Campman moves up to second. Will Zuckerman be able to recover in time to stay in third place? No, Darren Atakan also moves ahead. So unfortunate for Gal Zuckerman to crash in those latter stages. But the most important fact out of that race is that Elena Lengvila wins the race. Quick break and back to you shortly.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert echt.
So there we are. We just seen our first winner in the finals, Elena Lengvila, keeping the competition alive. Jessie Campman not able to see out the match in race one, but she's still on match point, but so too is Elena Lengvila, thanks to that race win. Now, what will Max Mader be able to do? He's won 11 out of the 12 races so far. The Singaporean, just a few days away from his 18th birthday, has been absolutely dominant this week. And Mader, we've seen him so many times in the past, managed to win in just one race. That's all he's got to do. But we've also seen a few crashes. We've seen a tangle today. We know things that could go wrong on this tight race course. Martin Dolence, he's on 1 point. He's got to win 2 more races. And then our qualifiers through from the semi-final are Benoit Gomez from France and Florian Gruber from Germany. They joined Mader and Dolence with no wins, so they've got a lot of work to do. So there we have it. Mader, Dolence, Gomez, Gruber, all really accomplished riders. Not really a surprise to see any of these 4 appearing in the finals, Benny. They've all got great history behind them, don't they?
Yeah, they have.
And none of them are exactly old, but they are all amongst the more experienced riders here at the competition on Lake Trounsey. And Flo Gruber, he's probably got more experience of sailing on Lake Trounsey than the other 3, would you say, Benny?
Yeah, his home spot, which is also in Bavaria, is pretty similar. So the conditions are pretty similar. Light wind, no waves, so flat water. So yeah, he's really used to those conditions, and he's really strong in those conditions. But he said he had no training since he basically did not qualify for the Olympic Games. So yeah, I think he had 3 sessions coming in this competition in the last 6 months. So yeah, he said he's a bit rusty, but I think the rust is gone now, and he made it to the finals.
Yeah, and you've shown that people can shake off their rustiness quite quickly with your performance. And Flo Gruber, he's lost a little bit of weight since he was campaigning for the Olympics. He says he's been doing a bit too much sport and not enough eating, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? He's probably weighing sort of low 90 kilos, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but he's not that heavy anymore, at least.
45 seconds to the start. and we've seen Flo Gruber likes the committee boat end of the line. That you would say if you can grab your spot at the committee boat end, that seems to give you more options tactically, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially you can keep riding for a bit longer on starboard tack before hitting the wall, so you will have this advantage for sure. I think it's not worth tacking away too early anymore because yeah, you will just hit the right hand wall too early. So yeah, I think keeping clear from the left hand wall is the way to go.
It looks like Martin Dolenz is going for a port tack start, maybe?
Yes.
So we haven't seen that before. So Martin Dolenz passes behind the rest of the fleet with the blue Fly Surfer kite. That's your kite he's borrowed, Benny. I hope he asked your permission.
Yes. I already talked to him what happens if I make it to the finals, who is getting the kite then. But yeah, this was not really an option anyway. So yeah, he's bringing the blue VMG3 for sure higher up in the rankings than I do, so I gave it to him.
Well, it's very generous of you, and it looks like he's making great use of it out on the right-hand side of the race course. And Benny, you say there are opportunities out that side, and at least he's got clear air. The other three are very closely pinned together, having their own battle on the left-hand side. And there we see the kite of Max Mader go in the sky the same time as Flo Gruber, and Benoit Gomez just a little bit further back with the predominantly black kite.
Yeah.
So still in the hunt, but in these early stages, you'd have to say Max Mader looking good of the bunch of three. Now we've yet to see how Martin Dolenz will come back from the right-hand side. It's a brave tactical move by Dolenz to go for the port tack start. Let's see how the blue kite comes back into play as it rejoins the other three at the top of the course.
Yeah, so Martin really had to go really close to the wall, otherwise he would not make the top mark, but let's see if he will make it. But it seems that the other three are a bit ahead, especially Max. Max is tacking, but at least he did not do too bad, so basically both sides are working pretty much the same. So yeah.
Not too bad. So possibly quite a good risk that he's taken. But the important fact here is that one of these three riders needs to beat Max Mader. If Max Mader stays in the lead as he is right now, that's game, set and match to the 17-year-old from Singapore, the Olympic bronze medalist who maybe didn't quite achieve what he wanted at the Olympic Games a month ago, but is right back on form here on Lake Trounsey. Winner already of 11 out of 12 races. The only other winner of a race being Benoit Gomez with his black kite currently lying in second place. Martin Dolenz in third and Flo Gruber bringing up the rear. There's no shame in being DFL in a four-rider final, and there's plenty that could still change. And we've seen Gruber at the back in the previous race. There was a tangle at the bottom between Jan Stragiotti and Alexander Ellen, and that put Flo Gruber into second. So we could still see in a tight race like this, things change quite quickly. But at the moment, Max Mader, he just seems to have an extra click of speed downwind. He seems to be able to go deeper than other people when he chooses to, Benny. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, he is keeping up the speed and going on a really deep downwind angle, so that makes him so fast. And yeah, the new kite helps a bit. So we really also focused on the light wind performance and especially the downwind, because of the new rule of the maximum kite size for girls being 19 square meter and for the boys 21 square meter. So yeah, we tried to make the big sizes as powerful as possible. So let's see how also the fleet weight will evolve. But yeah, for now, I don't think we will see too much of a change.
Mader looking strong on the right-hand side of our picture, going into attack. The two behind him going into attack, Martin Dolenz with the blue kite and Benoit Gomez. Mader so far not putting a foot wrong, so will one of these two that we're looking at, Benoit Gomez on the left, Martin Dolence on the right, be able to close the gap to Maida, or is Maida going to see out the competition on Lake Trounsey in just a single race in this 4-rider final? There's Max Maida on the right, a picture looking strong. And got the other two quite nicely squared away to leeward, so nothing too much to worry about. If Max Maida can just stay on his foil, then it looks like the championship is going to go his way.
So Max around the top mark on the last downwind. Maybe the last downwind for him for the whole competition, if nothing goes wrong.
And how would you characterize his riding style? I know that experts like you can pick people out from a silhouette. What are the differences we're looking at here in terms of riding style?
Max and Martin, they have a quite similar riding style because they train together. So yeah, Benoit Gomez usually rides a bit more upright, especially on the downwind. So getting basically the weight from the upper body a bit further away from the harness, which gives a little bit more, or which helps you to put more load on the foil. And yeah, so Flo usually likes to ride the board really low and with the maximum angle of the mast to have the best opponent force to the wing, to the kite. So yeah, different riding styles, and yeah.
Well, it is interesting seeing how people bring different approaches to the game, and everyone to some extent has a unique riding style. But round the final mark, it's running out of opportunity for the other three to be able to take this competition away from Max Maida, the 17-year-old. Oh, splashdown. What have you seen, Benny?
Splashdown from Martin Dolenk. He was quite late with his kite steering, so the kite was quite far back in the jibe, and he had a touchdown. And yeah.
But here he goes. Max Maida launches his kite into the air, and the 17-year-old from Singapore celebrates victory on Lake Trounsey. He is the champion of KiteFoil World Series Austria. What an incredible performance by Max Maida, recent Olympic bronze medalist, and now adding yet another of many victories to his trophy cabinet. Absolutely amazing performance this week by Max Maida. He only failed to win one race. He's won 11 out of the 12 races coming into today. He only needed to win one race today, and that's what he's done at his first attempt. So the masked raider from Singapore, Max Maida, he's absolutely shown that he's right back on top form and is putting himself as favourite yet again for the coming season based on what we've seen today. So congratulations to him. And it was close between the others, but Martin Dolence, he's also sailed super well this week, and you must be pleased to see your blue kite doing so well this week, Benny.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy for Martin. He really deserves it. He did great racing this week, and yeah, so Martin being on the second place now, which brings the VMG to first and second place, and I think Benoit made his goal real and brought the new kite, the Element kite, on the podium, which is really impressive. So yeah, hats off to him.
Great to see two different types of kite in the final, and the two different types of foil also sharing the podium. The Levitas used by Max Maida and the Chubanga used by Benoit Gomez and Martin Dolence. So really healthy to see different options available to the fleet. And what a wonderful way for the men's competition to finish. Max Maida right back at the top again. His training partner, Martin Dolens, taking silver, and the bronze medal to Benoit Gomez from France. So congratulations to them. A quick break, and then we'll be back to you for the next round of the women's.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert echt.
So, congratulations to Max Mader. We're now looking at Jessie Campman. I wonder if she'll be inspired by what she's just seen. There's Max Mader. He's still in his mask, still in his ski goggles, talking to our social media girl, Lena G, being congratulated by Lena G for winning here on Lake Trounsey. Max Mader right back at his very best. And we've got 1 minute 30 to the start of the next race. And there you can see the scores on the doors. Elena Lengvila now in the box seat. She is on match point. Jessie Campman still on match point because she qualified in top spot. And Turkey's Derin Atakan and Israel's Gal Zuckerman yet to put a score on the board. So
this will be very exciting now with both being on match points.
Yes, it will. And Jessie Campman must be rather concerned by the speed being displayed by Elena Lengvila and the 23 square meter kite looking really, really strong.
Yeah, especially the breeze is really, really light now. I think it also dropped a tiny bit. It's still nice and really good conditions. But yeah, for sure, four square meters more help Elena for sure. So yeah. Hopefully everything will go well and they will have all a clean race and yeah.
Now, you could carry on using the 23 square meter on KiteFoil World Series as long as you like, but we're probably going to see them disappear from the race course in the coming seasons as people get used to having to use the smaller kites. We got 10 seconds to go, and as we always know, this is a critical part of the start. It's Elena Lengvila on just the bottom left of our picture. Elena Lengvila down to leeward. Jessie Campman with a good start up by the committee boat. Also a good start by Gal Zuckerman with the black element kite. Derin Atakan also being the other rider. And Derin Atakan going pretty well out to leeward. She's the most left hand of the riders that we can see at the moment. In the blue bib, it's Elena Lengvila with that 23 square meter.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if Derin is on the 23 or the 21.
Right. Yeah. I was beginning to wonder if there's something's gone wrong though there. Derin Atakan. We're seeing the same separation here, aren't we?
I think now they really hit the wind lull. So it looks like really light wind to the left. So Jessie's pumping.
Oh,
yeah, she's making it.
I wonder if Gal Zuckerman got out of there just in time.
I think so. Gal, yeah, now you can see Gal. So she's I think she tagged really early because she saw the other girls struggling. So yeah, pretty good for her.
But very close between these. This is Gal Zuckerman from Israel at the bottom of your screen. But the other three, they've come out of the dodgy zone, out of the light patch, and they're actually looking a little bit higher and faster than Gal Zuckerman. So it's very close between all four right now, and it could be neck and neck as they go around this top mark. There's Gal Zuckerman with the black element kite, just tacking that into the sky. She's going to be the first to tack. How are the rest going to square up against her? There's not a lot of breeze up there, is there, Benny?
Oh, no, it's really light. And Jessie also is really on a low lay line. She needs to pump the foil to get the mark, and she makes it. Same Gal was leading. And now we saw also a good rounding from Gal again. So she took the speed, like we talked before, and has now a clear advantage over the other girls.
But will that superior horsepower, the extra 4 square meters of kite come into play for Elena Lengvila down the run? This is where she's particularly dangerous. So yes, Gal Zuckerman is leading. She was leading in the early stages of the previous finals race, but is she going to be able to keep at bay the blue bib of Elena Lengvila? But Lengvila's back in third at the moment. It's Jessie Kapman in second.
So Jessie really puts the hammer down. She really wants this win.
I'm sure Gal Zuckerman wants this win as well, and Gal Zuckerman almost needs it more than the others because she's yet to put a win on the board. But so far, so good for the rider from Israel.
Yeah, let's hope that the wind is not dying off, because we are expecting some south wind later on. So yeah, south wind is usually killing the thermals, and is basically the exact opposite wind direction we need for Lake Transit to work. So yeah.
Are we getting to the point where it's getting so light that tacks are starting to become hazardous?
I think now you really need to make sure to stay in the windy patches, because if you because the windy patches already are really light. So if you hit the wind lull, then you're basically sitting in the water and waiting for the next gust to hit to get going again.
Well, so far so good for Gal Zuckerman, and she was the first to spot that light patch on the first windward leg. Maybe that's why we're seeing Gal Zuckerman go for a fairly early tack, and so too followed by Jessie Kapman.
Jessie is taking a big risk.
Oh, sorry, that's Jessie on the left, is it? Sorry,
so
yeah.
She's still on starboard tack, so she's really going to the left-hand side of the course. So hopefully it works out for her. But oh, a little splashdown. She's up and foiling. All good.
So Jessie Kapman just out of picture. She's completed her tack. Looks like she's okay. But Gal Zuckerman, who tacked out earlier, she's still in the lead. It's a matter of who's the bigger threat to Zuckerman. Is it Lengvila to leeward, or is it Jessie Kapman further to windward? That's Jessie Kapman in picture, going along pretty nicely right now, and managed to get out of the light wind zone in the left-hand corner, and actually going a little bit faster than the other riders right now. So maybe that risk by Kapman is paying off. We'll find out soon enough. Gal Zuckerman now tacked on the right-hand side of your picture. Looks like Zuckerman still in the lead. Jessie Kapman coming across, but hasn't managed to overtake Zuckerman. Zuckerman coming in fast, got the speed to get her through this dodgy patch at the top of the course. A nice rounding by the rider from Israel. Around in second place. You can see how light it is, but Elena Lengvila gets away with it. Lengvila up into second. Atakan up into third.
She had to do another tack to make the upwind mark. So I think Darren is
it's Kapman in third.
Fourth now, exactly. So Jessie is in third. Elena second, and Gal leading.
Now, if Gal can just keep the wheels on the wagon, she should be fine. We did see a late crash by Zuckerman in the previous race near the slalom jibe mark. She's got Elena Lengvila charging down behind her, but there's quite a gap, so Zuckerman doesn't have too much cause for concern right now. She just needs to sail a clean race. Looks like Elena Lengvila is struggling to keep her board above the water there, Benny.
Yeah, like I said before, the wind is really, really light, and I really hope that the south wind is not kicking in too early, so we can finish the finals.
Yeah, we're so close to seeing this out, but this is not going easily for Jessie Kapman. Jessie Kapman has had 2 opportunities so far, but it looks like this is going to be a race win for Israel, for Gal Zuckerman right now. Every manoeuvre is hazardous because the breeze is dropping away on Lake Trounsey, so you can't take anything for granted. Gal Zuckerman trying to play it as safe as she can, and if there's any comfort for her, it's that there's a real battle going on behind her between Lengvila and Kapman. And Kapman just about managing to keep it going. There was a bit of a splashdown there, but here comes Gal Zuckerman taking her first race win in the final. And that's going to be an absolutely critical win for Gal Zuckerman, pinning her first win on the board and keeping the game alive as Elena Lengvila comes across in second, Kampmann in third, and Derin Atakan bringing up the rear in fourth. Yet to put a win on the board. Benny, great race by Gal Zuckerman.
For sure, really sailed cleanly and yeah, was leading basically the whole time and brought it to the finish line.
Right, so unlike in the men where we saw a very quick final decided by Max Mader's victory, the Singaporean taking the men's victory here, we're seeing things play out a little bit longer in the women. There is the update. There's that win on the board for Gal Zuckerman. She's in third as things stand, but if she can win another race, then she will draw level onto match point along with Elena Lengvila and Jessie Kampmann. So that's how things stand right now. We'll be coming back to you very shortly with the next race.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert.
4 minutes 14 to the next start. Well, we didn't see a menopause in the males competition, but we are seeing an extended competition for the women. So we'll see how this plays out in the next one. Gal Zuckerman will be greatly encouraged to have seen what she just achieved in the previous race. She was able to keep at bay the greater power of Elena Lengvila with the biggest kite on the race course, the 23 square meter fly surfer. I don't think there's much in it upwind, is there? I think it's mostly downwind where the bigger size comes into play. What do you think?
I think when it's really marginal wind conditions, so I would say 6 knots, so the low wind limit, then you still have more power to load on the foil going upwind, so which would just be better in your upwind angle. But speed-wise, I think there is no real advantage, but especially when it's a bit patchy, and especially because the top mark or the wind on the top mark is pretty light, you would have an advantage for sure.
3 minutes to the start of the next race. There's Jessie Kampmann, yet to win a race today, which is a little bit surprising that she hasn't managed to make more of the first 2 races. She's been so dominant ahead of the other women in the mixed racing with the men and the women starting on one start line. But it's not quite worked out for Jessie Kampmann so far.
Right now, I would suggest for Jessie to go on the 21-meter BMG3. But I had a chat with her the last days, and she really wants to stick on the 19 to get used to it for the next Olympic cycle.
Whereas Elena Lengvila is obviously taking the opposite approach, which is, it's early in the cycles, plenty of time to get to grips with the new equipment. Let's go for the win. What would you do, Benny?
You mean strategy-wise?
Well, yeah, if you were in their position, what would you do? Would you be trying to get used to the new stuff, or would you look to bring every advantage?
I think so, because I think most of the competitors are looking at this event as a test event from the new equipment, to see what's working, what's not working, and also try different kites, different foils. We have also Levitas here with some demo foils. So yeah, I think most of the competitors just see this event as a test event for the new equipment. So yeah, they would better stay on the 19.
Okay, we got 1 minute to go to the start, and typically we're seeing people go for the starboard tack start. We've only seen Martin Dolenz with your beautiful blue fly surfer kite. I hope that is he a pay per play kind of guy? Is he paying per use? Is it a per minute usage of the kite? I mean, you wouldn't let him get away with being a freeloader, would you?
No. No, I'm really happy that that Martin basically got the new kites already, but only the 15, so his 21 did not arrive in time. So yeah, I'm really happy that he took mine. So yeah. And it's also, I think, the only blue 21 meter VMG we've seen this week. So yeah, good to see on the race course.
Excellent. We got 10 seconds to go. They're coming at it from fairly far back, looking to be up to full speed by the time they cross the start line. And it looks like Gail Zuckerman is going for the port tack start behind the fleet, so a different approach from the Israeli rider, winner of the previous race. Let's see how that works out. Meanwhile, Elena Lengweiler, very good start for her. She's the most right hand of the riders, and then just to windward of her, it's Jessie Kampmann and Darren Atakan. So 3 going out to the left, and here's Gal Zuckerman from Israel going out to the right.
So I think the tactics also changed a bit because the upwind marks were moved further to the left. So I think Gal is now in a really good position because she does not need to go too far to the right wall. And I'm not sure if she's leading now, but yeah, looks like it.
It could well be, but there's a lot that could change between now and then. For this such a small course, there's quite a lot of separation side to side, with Elena Lengweiler with a marginally better race than Jessie Kampmann out on the far left. Lengweiler getting the better of Kampmann on the far left. And remember, it's if one of those two can win this race, then that will be the finals done and dusted. It's up to Darren Atakan and Gal Zuckerman to see if they can take a race win away. But there you can see on the tracking, Gal Zuckerman, she's in with a chance, not going quite as quick as the others on the far side. This is going to be really close, but right now it looks like Jessie Kampmann's doing very well. But
yeah, she's really pushing in high mode now to make it in front of Gal. She's tacking in front.
Is she going to be able to pull that tack off? Or a bit of a splashdown for Jessie Kampmann. Here's an opportunity for Gal Zuckerman, also bouncing her board around the windward mark, and it's splashed down for Jessie Kampmann. Gal Zuckerman moving into the lead. Elena Lengweiler also struggling to get around, just about keeping things going. But what a disaster for Jessie Kampmann, finally up and running, but a very expensive mistake for her, and an opportunity, another door opens for Gal Zuckerman, possibly to put another win on the board. And if she does, she would draw level on match point with Elena Lengweiler and Jessie Kampmann. It could be a 3-way fight we're looking at in the next race.
Really well done from Gal.
A very brave move to do a port tack start. She saw some of that opportunity on the right-hand side that you've been referring to, Benny, and she's made it work. And what an absolutely brave move to go her own way up the racetrack. And right now she's managing to make it work for her.
Yeah, today seems like really the right side is working. The past 2 days, we've seen the left side actually working quite well, because on the right there was not as much wind as on the left side. So yeah, today it's the opposite way.
But I wonder if Gal Zuckerman is liking the right too much, because she chose the same way down the run. Oh, and then a splash down for Elena Lengweiler. Can Gal Zuckerman get through the gap? Yes, she does. So just as Lengweiler moves into the lead, a splashdown at the leeward mark. And now it's Zuckerman being chased by Jessie Kampmann, and Lengweiler looks like she's out of it right now. So that's one down for Gal Zuckerman. Here's a replay. Lengweiler goes into the jibe, looks like she's safely through the jibe, gets the kite down into the power zone, and then looks like she loses her balance, Benny. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I didn't see it exactly, but I think she went over the board in front, and did not look like that she hit something in the water, because the last 2 days there was quite a lot of stuff in the water, especially because of the rain we had in the beginning of the week. And I even saw a tampon in the water, which was actually really, really weird because I don't know where it came from.
Wow, the things you see out on Lake Trounsey, you don't see that very often. Gal Zuckerman, she goes for the early tack. Jessie Campman, she persists with going into the left-hand side every time, and we'll see how it works out. This is very, very close between Zuckerman and Campman right now. It's looking a bit dicey for Zuckerman there.
Oh,
Campman looking strong, but where is Zuckerman? Oh no, Zuckerman is splashed down as well. This is getting super tricky.
And now there is not enough wind for her to get going again, or maybe, but she's really struggling. So Jessie rounded first. Yeah.
So Jessie Campman, now finally she moves into pole position. If Jessie Campman can see out this race, then she will become the champion. I don't feel like we've seen the best of Campman today. She's made a little bit hard work of it, but with the demise of Gal Zuckerman just now and Elena Lengwieler earlier, the door is opening for Jessie Campman to be able to see out her first ever victory in a KiteFoil World Series event here on Lake Trounsey. Darren Atakan in second. Darren still needing to get 3 wins on the board. That's not looking very likely as things stand. This is turning into a really tricky race course, Benny. A different style of riding required.
Yeah. So let's see if she can hold it together. The pressure is on, but she has a comfortable lead now. And yeah, looks good for her.
Now, that should be the second last jibe that Jessie Campman needs to execute this week, because she's into the reach, into the power zone. Probably a bit of a relief to get on to the reaching section of the race course. Just about to jibe around the slalom mark. If Campman can successfully execute that jibe, which she does, then it's just a straight reach to the finish. But you can't take anything for granted here on Lake Trounsey. Jessie Campman is not going to be pushing this. Jessie Campman is now readying herself to celebrate her first ever victory in a KiteFoil World Series event, as Jessie Campman from France, a comeback after a few months away, right back at her very best. The French rider crosses the finish line and she takes victory here on Lake Trounsey. She didn't do it the easy way, she did it the hard way, but she let others take the hit in that race. Elena Lengwieler firstly falling to the water, then Gal Zuckerman also falling into the water, and Jessie Campman finally getting across the finish line. And more relief than anything else, I would say. We haven't yet seen a celebration from Jessie, but that confirms it. 3 wins on the board for Jessie Campman, who takes the gold medal. Elena Lengwieler has to settle for silver for Switzerland, and Gal Zuckerman takes bronze for Israel. Benny, what a final series that was.
Yeah, congratulations to Jessie, especially because she for sure showed some balls going really, really far to the left, and in the end it paid out for her. And yeah, unfortunately, Florian Gruber will not be able to show his lederhose because he's not on the podium. But yeah, let's see. Maybe he gets how we call it, a Leberkas-Semmel later on. But yeah.
Well, that
was a really great event, and I think the reputation for Lake Trounsey also changed a bit, because we had 3 really good race days in, and the last years the weather did not play in the cards from this event, especially because it was a little bit later in the year, and now it's a bit earlier. So yeah, I think it was good.
Well, Benny, it's been an absolute pleasure doing commentary with you this afternoon, and you've really stepped up to the mark. It's been a lot of fun. And we are going to go and interview some winners fairly shortly. So I just want to say thank you to you, Benny. All the best.
Thanks for having me.
With Fly Surfer. I hope this week encourages you to come back and have a proper tilt at Los Angeles 2028 and take on the likes of Janis Maus and Flo Gruber and Jan Voster for that German spot. Have a think about it, Benny.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I will go to the Masters Worlds next year and train a bit. But yeah, let's see.
All right.
And
I'm putting money on you.
I got the full Transit experience with commentating and racing.
That's it. Yeah, you've got the full set.
Yeah.
Benny,
thank you
very much. We'll go to a quick ad and then we will go down to the beach.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert.
Jessie, congratulations. Can I know it's right in the middle of you getting your kite down, but okay, we're going to get Jessie Campman in a moment, our champion here on Lake Trounsey after a really dramatic women's final. Jessie, congratulations.
Thank you.
You didn't do it the easy way, but you managed to come through a really hazardous final race. It was hard keeping your board in the air, wasn't it?
In the air? In the water, you mean?
No, I meant in the air.
Oh.
Just let's get a little bit more of your, yeah. No, I meant in the air because keeping your board above the water was a big challenge just then.
Yeah, well, the first race, Gal was below me and I wanted to keep her height, and I was just like, oh, I'll go under her, and I lost a lot of meters by doing that. And Elena won that first race. She sailed cleanly all the way, so she did well. And then the second one, Gal went right, and there was a right shift, and she went right, and I thought it might be a bit risky to go there. And Gal went for it, and she did really well, and she won that race. And on the last one, it was both sides were quite equal. Gal did a port start, the rest of the fleet went on starboard, and we got there about at the same time with Gal. I missed my tack, and so Gal went past. And then downwind, Elena got in front of Gal, but I think on her jibe, she fell. So it was a bit of a mix all around. And then upwind, I went left, Gal went right. And I think Gal fell on her tack as well. So we all fell during that race. It was quite a bit of ups and downs. But yeah, I think the girls sailed really well. I'm not so happy about my riding, but I mean...
Yeah, I don't feel like you're celebrating. You have won your first ever KiteFoil World Series event. What's wrong with that?
No, nothing's wrong. I'm happy about my riding the last few days, and racing with the boys was a lot of fun. Today I'm quite hard on myself. I would have liked to sail better. Even if I came second, I would have liked to get a better course, but I'm happy to have won the event.
It was a difficult day. I mean, give yourself a break. Just keeping things going. Yes, you had that splashdown at the windward mark, but you recovered very quickly, didn't you?
Yeah, no, that was fine. I mean, like, as I said, the girls sailed really well, and like, hats off to them for getting race wins as well.
Now, you've been going through a bit of shall I, shan't I for LA 2028. Do I go round again? How have the last few days affected your thinking on that?
Well, I've tried the new gear out, the gear that's going to be registered for the games in 2028. And I mean, I really love the gear. The VMG3s are like working really well in the water, and the R6, I'm really happy with it. So yeah, both Levitas and Fly Surfer have done great jobs with developing the gear, and that makes me want to discover a bit more about it and get used to it.
That's great. That's one of the fun things about this sport, is there's a technical element to it, and working closely with the designers like you do, with Fly Surfer and with Levitas. That's part of the fun of this game, isn't it? And you're obviously in sync with the new gear, or you're getting there. I'm
still getting used to it, I'd like to say, and I mean, like everyone else is, and still discovering the different brands and testing a little bit. But yeah, I got more used to the Levitas R6 and the VMG3 during this event.
Jessie, congratulations.
Thank you.
Your first ever victory at a KiteFoil World Series. So
thanks, Andy.
Really well raced.
Thank you
so
very much. Thank you.
We'll go to a quick break, and then we will go and find our other winner.
Wenn aus Vorfreude echte Freude wird. Das ist Urlaub in Oberösterreich. Erlebenswert echt.
Benoit and Gal, the first couple of kiting, I wanted to get you together because this must be a good day for you both. I mean, Gal, okay, you were really unfortunate in that race. You had that splashdown after leading and winning the previous race, and congrats for going for the port tack start. I mean, here's also another big fan of the port tack start, and you made it work. That must have felt like a bit of a risk. You must be pretty happy with how that worked out, the windward mark.
Yeah, it was really fun racing today. I like the short courses, and it was really not stable, the wind, at our last race, so the game was really open, and yeah, I enjoyed.
It looked fantastic to watch. It was we had to wait a while to find out who our champion was going to be, and for a moment it looked like it might have been you. But congratulations anyway, getting the bronze here.
Thank you so much.
And Benoit, you and Gal and Alex Aylen have been using the new Element kite, which you've co-designed, and here you are. You got the bronze medal as well. Am I right?
Yeah.
I have to remember both bronze medalists, here you are. You're proving that the Element kite can take on the fly surf. You must be really happy with what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's super nice that we are having more than two years and a half of development on this kite, and we are actually racing for the first event and comparing with the other brand. Also with the foil, it's super interesting because we have two Levitas in front and then some Chumanga. So it's super nice. We see that the game will still be open for the kite, and it's super nice for the sport that we are on the same way and we both develop the kite to make it better. Like today, we didn't see some VMG in the front, so it was really, really nice. VMG2, I mean.
Well, we had your rival designer, fly surfers Benny Boeli, in the commentary booth with me today, so he did a great job. He's also a great commentator as well as kite designer, so I hope you'll be joining me one day in the booth.
Of course. Yeah, we'll be there in Torregrande.
Okay, I look forward to that. Congratulations, guys. Really, really great to watch you racing today, and great to see Element making steps forwards in the world of kite foiling. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Andy.
We are going to go off and look for our winner in the men's. That's Max Mader. Let's see if we can find him. Max!
Are so much an advantage, you know, that you actually...
And try and look a little bit at the camera.
Yeah, at the camera as well.
Max Mader, congratulations. You are right back at the top. I mean, absolutely amazing performance this week. You won 11 out of 12 races coming into today, and you only needed one race to see out the final. We saw how difficult it was for the women. How did you manage to win in one race? What was your strategy for that race?
Well, I mean, like I mentioned yesterday, it is a little bit of a fickle state, right, in the finals and in this format. So I took myself back a little bit and said, you know, absolutely no mistakes, and let's just see how it goes. And sometimes the door opens for you, in the case that it did for me with flow tacking and me being in an all right position. I'm happy with the start. The racing went well. So what to say? I mean, sometimes you get that door opening for you, and sometimes you have that lucky opportunity, and if you can seize it, it works out well.
Now we saw others like in the women, Elena Lengvila using the 23 square meter kite, and that extra horsepower seemed to be helping her at times. Were you partially tempted to go on the older gear, or are you happy to go with the smaller gear that's permitted for the new Formula Kite cycle for LA 2028?
I'm under the impression that even though it's a little bit smaller, it's simply more efficient. So even if I were on the bigger size, it would have actually been a bad choice, because I would have been just less efficient in general. So it wasn't on my mind at all, actually. I was happy to be on the kite that I was.
Yeah. We also had a different format leading into the final. Now the final for you was the same. It didn't affect you, but any thoughts or observations about the golden ticket race followed by the knockout repechage quarterfinal, semi-final into the finals?
I mean, it makes scheduling much easier. You know that these races will happen, and I find it actually quite an interesting format. The golden ticket especially. It may not be great for a couple of people, but once there's a lot of people in that golden ticket race, I think it's a wonderful thing that that's the case. Perhaps, you know, it might be a little bit of a bummer for those near that 10th place, but I guess sometimes the format is the format. And the repechage, I all believe it's very exciting, and this top 2 thing gives a great chance to riders who are good, because they don't have to win the race, but they also can move on if they're just in the top 2, and it's all very cutthroat and quick, but still fair in my opinion. And this whole format is a pleasure to watch. And of course, the finals staying the way they are, I find it all quite fair, but with a tinge of excitement in it, which is just enough, and it's a great balance.
Yes, well, you managed to make the most of your advantage today. You went in with 2 wins, you only needed 1. You got it done in 1. Max Mader, congratulations, champion of Lake Transy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. So there we have it. We've got our winners. It's Max Mader in the men, Jesse Campman in the women. Fantastic performances by them. We saw a lot of drama in the women's competition just now. And we want to thank everyone at Lake Transy for a great competition. As my co-commentator just now, Benny Boelli, said, we've struggled with Lake Transy the past couple of years, but it's really come good this year. We've had 3 fantastic days of racing. We've got some great competition completed here on the shores of Lake Transy in Upper Austria. So from my co-commentators, Flavio earlier in the day, and then Benny just now, from myself, Andy Rice, and from the rest of the crew, that's it from KiteFoil World Series Austria. We'll be coming back to you very soon from the south of Sardinia, from Cagliari, for the next KiteFoil World Series event in just a few weeks from now. And so the bandwagon continues. Keep watching, keep enjoying KiteFoil racing. It keeps on moving forwards, and we look forward to bringing you the best of the best from kitefoiling from Sardinia very soon. See you there.